weekly kickoff show, week 6 edition. I'm Mike Daggs. He's Gerald Smith. Gerald, we got a really special, exciting show for everybody this evening. Not only are we going to break down week 5's action that's in the books and the week 6 upcoming games, but we also have a special announcement today.
It seems like we might have one, but I think we should recap last week before we even get into
we could announce the 2025 SFL convention right now.
We could, but let's just keep them hanging a little bit longer. Let's recap last week.
All right,
we need to get done with last week before we address this week. How about that?
Or the future. Yeah, we got to talk about the past before you get into okay, fine. We'll recap week 5. So, listen, it was an amazing week of action. There's a lot of great games. A little bit of a unique schedule. We had a couple games on Friday. We only had 2 games on Saturday. Obviously, we still had our 4 on Sunday, but then a Monday night doubleheader. It was very special. Monday night doubleheader. Canton and Chicago kicked the week off. We called that game last week. Chicago hung in there for a while against Canton. It was a game that on paper it looked like Canton was just probably going to blow out Chicago. But,
correct.
Chicago scored first, hung in there for a little while, almost took the lead, and then an untimely pick 6 kind of derailed that whole game for them.
And it was a pick 6 where they was close to scoring a touchdown at that point, and it just turned it all around, and it just took the wind out of their sails.
It did. Ended up losing that one 31-21. Carolina stunned Houston 23-14. There was also a stunner with Albuquerque defeating Fort Worth. So a couple of surprises in the South.
I think I'm gonna start getting messages from the Carolina leadership or players that says, talk trash about us because we'll come out swinging and win games. Last time I did it, I trashed them. They did well, so maybe that's a thing now. I don't know.
It's at minimum a Carolina curse that you've got going on. We'll see who else it might apply to. Motor City, they opened up some eyes this past week. They put up 40 points against Indianapolis. They won that one 40-24. And then the Monday night doubleheader, that one was an extra special night, tribute night, to honor some of our fallen friends who are no longer with us, like our namesake here, Matt Willson. And the 4 teams that those 4 individuals once played for were all featured that night in a nice tribute game. Mexico City, we wore our Santa Fe throwback uniforms, which I don't know. I'm thinking we should just switch to those full time, man. Every time we do those, listen, first off, I've never lost in those throwback uniforms, which I don't believe in I don't know what's not a jinx, but
a superstition.
Yeah, I'm not a superstitious guy. If you've never lost, you've never lost. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but hey, we wore those throwback uniforms. Stadium looked great. Uniforms looked great. We had Matt up on the billboard along with Anthony Stover, who had played for Atlanta, won that game 52-24. So really put up a bunch of points this past week. Your Louisiana Revolution played Vancouver, score a lot less points than the Atlanta-Mexico City game, but ultimately Louisiana did get away with a win there.
It wasn't grind. We wanted to win in Cadillac style, which is nice, smooth, easy going, as Leonard Butler would say, but it wasn't quite the Cadillac style win we wanted, but it's a win nonetheless, and we'll take it.
Yeah, wins a win. You got lucky, though, I think.
I
might have stolen your words right off.
You sure did.
All right, should we go ahead and announce the convention now?
No, man, we have to see what kind of lineup we have this week, what game, who's playing, and everything else, and who's calling these games.
Priorities first.
Priorities,
first.
very
Let's
much.
Talk about
priorities.
Let's talk about the week 6 schedule that we got coming up. Starting tonight, Friday, August 16th, 8 p.m. We've got Minnesota at DC. I'm looking forward to that game. It's going to be a great one. We'll break that one down in just a little bit. On Saturday, we're back to 4 games starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time with Colin and Rick Northrup calling Baltimore at Vancouver. 6:45 in that same time block, Florida at Bossier City with Ramos Lynn and Alex West. Then at 9 p.m., Chicago at Lexington, a game that maybe Chicago has a chance to finally get a win, but Lexington's still looking good this season too. Tyler Falk, Mickey Malillo on the call. We're hoping Mickey actually makes it this week. Last week he was supposed to call a game too and ended up having some sort of
planes.
Cancel. Yeah. I don't know. I think he just bailed on us, but he'll be here this week. I got faith. 9:15 p.m. We've got Motor City at Nashville with Jacob Clear and Mark Lopez, and that's our Saturday slate. On Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Man, a game that's I think so good that you circled it to break it down, even though we don't usually break down our own teams. Mexico City at Fort Worth. I'm terrified. Tyler Falk and Alex West. I'm prepping hard for this game. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
I prepped hard on the breakdown.
Yeah, I bet you did. I hope you talk trash about the Aztecs so that we get that Gerald curse and win. We'll see. We've got Charleston at Houston with Chris Curtis and Eddie Gage on the call together. Love that pair together on the call. Queen City at Carolina. Chris Curtis's former team at his current team at 9 p.m. on Sunday with Ethan Muslin and Mickey Melillo. He's on double duty this week because he bailed on us. Now he's in trouble and has something too. So
he's got a cover for somebody like that. That's somebody to cover him last week.
There you go.
Good employees do that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. 9:15 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. We've got Pittsburgh at Atlanta. Atlanta looking to rebound. Cameron Duty, Mike O'Neill on the call. And then, of course, the Monday Night Spectacular with Cameron Irvine, Charles Doherty, Albuquerque at Arizona. Albuquerque, one of the surprises so far this season with how they're doing, at least at home. And they're on the road this week in Arizona, who have not yet lost the game.
And it's I think it's going to be a good one because it's a Western matchup that we haven't seen before. That Arizona and New Mexico kind of battle happening on right there. So we're going to see how that shakes out.
All right, and now we will announce the 2025 SFL convention.
I have a lot to say. I want to get to my games and break it down. The people are going to wait and love what's coming to them, but not right now. I haven't had to say my words.
All right,
I got a lot of words.
We'll break down some games first. First game we'll break down Charleston at Houston. Charleston, they're at 3-1, significantly better than their 0-4 start that they had last season. I do have questions though when you look at their opponents that they've beat. They beat Chicago, they beat Pittsburgh, they beat Denver. Those are all teams with a losing record. The one loss that they have this season was to Florida, obviously, arguably the best team in the league so far this season and for the past couple of seasons. But they lost that one at home 16-0. Didn't even score a single point. However, speaking of Florida, Charleston is actually tied for number one in points allowed with them at only 38. So my question is, can they beat good teams? And, Houston, I think they are one of those good teams, even at 2-2. But there's questions surrounding them, too. They won both of their home games, but then they lost both of their away games. One of those losses was against Vancouver, who's only registered one win this season, and it was that win against Houston. So some up and down seasons, mainly for Houston, but some question marks for Charleston. Wondering what can we expect to see Sunday. So what are we going to see out of Charleston?
Charleston, as you know, look, they sit at 3-1, which at record alone seems really impressive, right? You would think that in their 3 wins, they have scored an average of 31 points a game. The offense has been far from impressive from my perspective, in my opinion. But what has been impressive to me about the offense is that they take advantage of what the opposing defense gives them, and they put points on the board. The offense aren't world beaters. I mean, we can kind of see that in what they're doing, but they get the job done. Right. They are able to do that. But like you said, their wins are against opponents with a combined record of 3-11.
Yeah.
And look, and versus their only quality opponent, they were kept scoreless and was shut out at home 16-0. Look, their offense is a mystery, especially being ranked in the bottom half of the SFL in all, offensive categories. And them in the passing game only having 1 touchdown pass on 5 TDs in the passing game. I still don't know what we're going to get out of Charleston offensively, but I don't know if Sunday is going to maybe they might play against a little bit of a better opponent in Houston and might show a little bit something more.
Yeah, that 1 touchdown to 5 interceptions, not the ratio that you obviously are looking for. The offense, like you said, it's a mystery. The defense really is the sole reason that they're 3-1.
Yeah, and they have dominated opponents and have only allowed 3 touchdowns all season so far. The defense has scored that many touchdowns themselves. Not only have they given up 3 touchdowns, but they've scored 3 touchdowns themselves.
Right.
So, look, and they only allow 9 points a game, tied for first in the SFL.
And they held Florida to 16. Granted, their offense couldn't.
Right.
But Florida only put up 16.
I know. And look, and they have a top 10 total defense and is number 3 in turnover differential. That means, they don't turn the ball over as much on offense, which has kept them kind of, on the good side of things. And they only allow 39% completion on 3rd down, which is 3rd best in the SFL. So this unit, like we said before, this is one of the sole reasons why they are where they are, because the offense kind of has, it's not impressive. It's not where I'd want to see an offense for a 3-1 team.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about Houston. Houston, they've been a bit, bipolar, maybe up and down.
Yeah, in week 1 they look great,
They did.
but then the next week they
Not
just
so good.
look out of sorts.
Yep.
It's just something I can't put my finger on. They've one loss, and that's the formula they're going with.
Two
So
100-yard rushers in week 1, and then just almost non-existent week 2.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and look, and they have the top 5 rushing attack and have a top 9 total offense.
Yeah.
Look, in their wins, they have rushed the ball extremely well, getting over an average of over 200 yards in those wins, which has helped them to get their 2 wins. When the run game is slowed down, this is when they struggle. Quarterback O.J. Bruin has not been able to shoulder the load when the run game isn't firing on all cylinders. So his completion percentage on the season is 46%, which is near the bottom in the league, along with his 9 interceptions that he's thrown.
Right.
Look, if they can somehow figure out a way to get him to improve, especially with the Hall of Fame talent he has with D.R. Sim and Tiberius Bovine, Mike St. Green is another, threat for them as well. Look, they could turn into a dangerous, a type offense, but they're going to have to improve on the offensive side passing game to right that ship offensively, in my opinion. Yeah,
and the defense has had its struggles as well, in particular with stopping the run. I know you said that Houston's offense, they've done well with the run, then they haven't done well with the run. The defense kind of has an opposite problem. They've just been allowing rushing yards to be gained against them.
Yeah, over 130 yards a game. They allow to their opponents, 22nd in the league overall, and then they're giving up a lot of conversions on third down, 60%. 60% of third downs are converted, which is also 22nd in the league. The huge struggle also for them is not forcing any turnovers. Through 4 games, they have 1 takeaway. 1 takeaway. If you're not taking away the ball and your offense is struggling in some way, shape, or manner, you're just not going to help them at all. Look, and putting all these things together, trying to put all this, it's going to be extremely tough for them to win consistently if they can't stop the run and if they can't start first and turnovers, and if they still continue to allow 60% conversion on third down.
Charleston at Houston, Sunday evening. Looking forward to that one. We have a ton of people in the chat going absolutely nuts about wanting to hear about this SFL convention. Is it time?
They are going to want to hear my breakdown of this Mexico City Fort Worth game. That's
Mexico
what I think.
Mexico City, you think that,
yeah.
Who cares?
You're going to enjoy this just as much as they will. So
we'll see.
I know I'm going to enjoy it.
Listen, Sunday, 6:30 p.m., we've got Mexico City at Fort Worth, South Division showdown. It's going to be a fantastic game, no matter how you slice it. Aztecs are at 3-1. Fort Worth is at 3-1. Mexico City offense, we've been red hot this season so far. Number 1 in the league in a few different categories, quite frankly. The defense has been pretty stout as well, stingy on yards, especially in the run. I know you're going to hammer me on the passing game, but I got a rebuttal. But we'll get there when we get there.
This just sounds like it's a whole pump Mexico City up breakdown.
Let's go. What am I supposed to pump up Fort Worth? Boo. Aztecs. I don't see any cows in here. We did dress up that one time.
We sure did.
Maybe again. Not today. Not for you, Fort Worth. But right now, the Aztecs are sitting at the league's best point differential at +62. Fort Worth, they're right up there with us, though. They're even more stingy on allowing points, pitching a shutout in week 2 against Carolina. But can they beat the Aztecs? The Fort Worth Toros barely beat Atlanta, who Mexico City just crushed. And they also lost to Albuquerque and didn't even score any points offensively. The only touchdown they had last week was a kick return touchdown. So they've kind of been teetering these past couple weeks, which I'll take it. I'm just saying, you want to teeter now? Cool, teeter. Sorry, Nacho. Sorry, Steven. Just saying. But
you got to get to the last one.
I'm getting there. I just don't want to talk about this one. Fort Worth has always had our number, though. Always seems to have had our number. I think we've met them 9 total times. They've won 7 of them. They've won the last 6. They've won the last 6 in a row.
Ownage.
It's just what it is it's disheartening because, man, I was this close last season in my first season as offensive coordinator beating them. And Marcus Dunhill says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pretend I'm the running back. Oh, shifty little Marcus Dunhill.
Makes me want to run.
So anyway, let's hear what you have to say about Mexico City.
Look, and this is a complete expert analysis. This is what it's going to be. Mexico City got lucky in week 1 against the Revs in week 1. They went on a scoring fest in weeks 3 and 5. I'll give you credit there.
So.
and completely forgot what scoring was in week 4.
I did.
Whenever they played Arizona. So pretty much sums up the season thus far for you guys, right?
Yeah.
So, no, I got
it's fair.
In all seriousness, look, they have been lucky. I'm just joking again. You guys not have been lucky. Look, the offense has been firing on all cylinders season under your direction offensively, right? By sending your spy drones out to scout the opponent's
you ain't
practice
cheating, you ain't
week,
trying,
right? And because of it, they have a top 5 offense with the second best points per game, average 32 points a game, and are number 1 in SFL on third down conversions with 70% converted. That's really impressive. Especially you. I mean, you're a season and a half veteran type offensive coordinator doing great things. They utilize all 3 ball carriers who have gotten them the third best rushing attack in the SFL. The passing game isn't bad either. Jordan Sipe with him back there throwing it, but lacks the explosiveness that I would like to see.
Too.
If Mike can find a way to make the passing game explosive, I think you guys could finally dethrone Fort Worth from the South Division.
There's a chance. You know, we finally just got Buford Van Dam more involved this past week. Been trying different ways, and I finally figured out a great way to be able to get him a lot more involved. Split the carries pretty evenly. All 3 of them got touchdowns last week, which was great to see. You know, our defense has been maybe if you want to call it a question mark, I guess we can call it a question mark. But they've been a pretty good unit, pretty solid.
And I think you guys have been pretty good. Look, the run defense is number 4, you know, but you guys have struggled stopping the pass.
Got my rebuttal ready.
3rd to last in stopping the pass. Look, you guys have lacked the ability to force turnovers, except the lucky fumbles you got against Louisiana. It was extremely lucky, and there was some sort of a weird, I forgot where the ball was, interception in the end zone. We should have won that game, but we didn't. And only have 3 interceptions on the season is what your secondary have. But you guys have been a very bendable defense and have allowed the 7th least points in the SFL, only allowing 16 points per game. And when you're scoring, right, 32 points a game, and you're allowing 16, that's a good recipe for success. Look, you guys are improving to be a complete team. Look, but it's, you know, you're just not there yet, but you're getting there.
So I'm just going to throw this out there. You say the pass defense has allowed a bunch of yards. Yeah. When you score 100 points in 2 games, they're going to throw against you quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess so.
I dropped my mic, but it was expensive. Let's talk about Fort Worth. The Toros, they are the best team after a couple weeks, and then they've kind of fallen off a little.
Yeah, they fell. Look, and the offense has only scored 1 touchdown in 2 games, and that was by a backup running back. It wasn't by J.Z. Bacon or Aaron Alexander or anybody else. And look, and J.Z. Bacon has been non-existent, and he has had yards in the last 2 games, 38 yards over the last 2 games. Quarterback Marcus Dunhill only has 39% completion the last 2 games, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. They need to find the offense they had the first 2 games of the season for them to get themselves back to their dominant form, because they're not at that form right now.
The defense, they've kind of carried the team over the past couple of weeks. I mean, they've held Albuquerque to not scoring a lot of points, but with the offense not helping them out, it wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, look,
talk about the defense.
And they have the number 3 scoring defense, the number 3 pass defense, number 2 overall defense in the SFL. Look, they are tough to move the ball against. You guys are going to see that come Sunday, right? Look, and they are the best in the SFL, only allowing 30% third down conversion to their opponent, right? And they have dominant play up front from their defensive linemen, and it's led by Jerry Degon, who has 4.5 sacks on the season, which is 3rd in the SFL. You know, the pressure applied by the defensive front 4 has forced some interceptions, which have turned directly into points. Of the 5 interceptions that they have gotten on the defensive side, 3 of them have been returned for touchdowns. Now, this is something I want to mention too. You have a top 5 offense in Mexico City versus a top 5 defense in Fort Worth. Which one wins that battle?
Yeah, the old unstoppable force versus the immovable object.
We're going to see.
We'll find out on Sunday.
Sure will.
So it's going to be an exciting one. Listen, we got a couple of super chats we got to get to real quick. The chat's been fun on this show. So first off, we get Doug Day, $5 super chat. He says, "Announce it." It's going to take at least a $50 super chat for me to interrupt Daryl. That you know, and then we got another $5 super chat from Marco Swift. Says Alex West loves Lexington's jersey colors. Okay,
All right. That's
now
great.
there is a poll: is Gerald the new SFL villain? And I have registered my vote.
I would say yes.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. So has the majority of the people voting. But surprisingly, a slim majority. 48% says no, he's still extremely likable.
Oh, all
but
right.
But the majority still says you're
good.
a villain.
I'll be the villain. I'll be the villain.
Another $5 super chat. Where are we going for the 2025 SFL convention? So we're up to $15 in super chats.
Nice.
Tells me we're $35 away.
All right,
Listen,
we
got to fund the convention somehow. Listen, let's break down one more game.
Fund it through super chat. Let's make it happen
today, right here on the show. $10,000. Anybody? No. All right. Well, I had to try.
That's worth the shot.
Shameless plugs. We'll make you all a deal. We won't break down 4 games. We'll just do one more. We'll make a couple of quick picks, and then we'll announce it.
Dang it!
We got a game to call in 9 minutes.
I thought I was a villain.
Only 52%. So we got to make that number a little worse first.
There we go.
So listen, we got a game coming up here in just a little bit. Minnesota at DC. The championship matchup that we didn't get to see was 2 teams that made the semifinals last season. They always look good and they always have something to prove. This season it's been kind of a little bit of a downer so far for DC. Their seasons have gone quite a bit differently. Minnesota, they're in their fifth season so far in the league. In every single season they've been in, including this one, they've started the season 3-1. That was pretty weird. That's a pretty solid start.
Yeah, it's
5
amazing.
seasons in a row.
Yep.
That even includes season 21 when after going 3-1, they only won one more game
and won a division. Oddly enough,
still won the division
4-8.
So yeah, who would have thought? So anyway, other than losing in week 1 this season, they've won every other game by 2 or more scores, including against Baltimore in week 3, a very quality opponent. DC, they're off to their worst start since season 16. They're 1-3. They beat Queen City in week 3, but they lost to Nashville, Florida, and Canton. Obviously quality opponents, but their schedule doesn't get any easier going forward. They've got 5 teams with winning records after this one tonight, which is another winning record team in Minnesota. Let's talk about the Minnesota offense.
Look, and to me, the offense has been impressive to watch all season. They have dominated the line of scrimmage, have bullied opponents' defensive line. And because of this, Colin Hart has returned to his former glory that he had back in the Sioux Falls days and somewhat what he did with us in Louisiana.
Yeah.
He's been fantastic. He is number 2 in rush yards and averages over 4.5 yards a carry. Quarterback Johnny Reno has continued his efficient and accurate passing since he's joined the league with 67% completion, which is second in the league, and he is also number 2 in QBR. That all has them as a number 2 offense in the SFL, along with the number 4 scoring offense. So they're efficient across the board. Yeah. They have a really dangerous offense and somewhat what I would consider, and their offense is such a ball control offense. They dominate time of possession.
Yeah, and I think the offense really is the complement that the defense needs, because on the surface they don't jump out at you necessarily as being a what you call dominant defense, but the offense really kind of keeps them going with that time of possession.
Yeah, and that's like, look, and it has kept them fresh and opportunistic,
right,
whenever they're able to get in there and do it. Look, and they're among the SFL's best in knocking passes to the ground. They're also top 6 in interceptions with 8 interceptions on the season. They also have one of the most dominant defensive linemen in the SFL, which is defensive tackle Max Knight, this massive human being who's a struggle to block for any offensive line. And he may be one of the best defensive tackles in the league on possibly one of the best teams, not defensive units, but one of the best teams in the SFL. So I mean, they've been really impressive over their 4 games, in my opinion, even though they lost one.
Whereas DC on the other side, they really not looked that good on offense this season. With Savage Synergy, statistically, he's among the league's worst quarterbacks.
And he is last or near last in every quarterback statistic.
Yeah.
He only has 1 interception. 1 touchdown to 9 interceptions. Tight end Lauren Procopa has seen her production drop drastically due to the struggles from her quarterback. The run game has been serviceable, but it has not been enough to overcome the struggles from the passing attack, right? This has them ranked 23rd in total offense, and their pass offense is ranked last in the SFL at 24. That is not any way to win games. They have to try and return form and get Lauren Prococo is what makes it go in the passing offense. And if they can't do it, they're going to continue to struggle.
$2 super chat from Marco Swift. War in the mines. I don't know what it means, but okay.
Sounds great.
$5 super chat from Marco Swift. Where are we going for the 2025 SFL convention, Gerald?
I'm not done.
He's not done. We still have a defense to break down. $9.99 from John Fullerton. Could you announce it, please? Does that work? I think we're up to 30.
He didn't put a pretty please with a cherry on top.
Yeah, and like a cherry emoji or
And
something.
then that's going to cost one of the super chat.
Yeah. So 53% say you are indeed the new SFL villain. That is the final.
Let's keep
on that
it.
poll.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, so the Dragons' defense statistically, they've actually been pretty good.
Yeah, believe it or not, they've been among the league best. Number 4 pass defense, number 8 scoring defense, number 6 total defense in the league. They've been pretty good. Their front 7 are making their money living in the opponent's backfield. 45 tackles for loss on the season. That's 11 tackles for losses a game. And when your offense is struggling, they're doing everything they can, but they can't get ahead of everything. If their offense cannot start to produce points, if they can start producing points, might I say, they might be able to turn their season around, but it has to happen right now. They can't lose too many more games, for their offense to help their defense.
All right, listen, let's make our picks real quick because I think we are starting to make people very angry at us. So, listen, I'm at 10-7 right now.
I get whole teams angry at me, but they win after that.
But then they win. They win. Listen, I cut a whole game out of our segment tonight, and you still are taking up almost the entire half-hour show. Last week, you picked Fort Worth, Florida, and Houston. I picked Fort Worth, Florida, and Houston, and we lost 2 of those 3 games. Not the greatest picks.
No.
We'll just pick 2 games, and then we'll make our announcement. So, Charleston at Houston, who do you got?
I got Houston because I think they turned around. They are at home. I think they turned around against Charleston. Plus, they're in a win-loss, and then now it's time for them to win.
All right, I'm going to go with Charleston because, I'm not just going to follow the pattern. I think that Charleston is just looking like the better team right now. I think they're doing really good this season. I think Houston, they have vulnerabilities that teams have been able to identify, and until they get that fixed, I think teams are going to exploit that. I think Charleston rebounds this week and gets the win. Mexico City at Fort Worth.
I'm going to take Mexico City. Why? Because they are having such a smooth way of going through right now. Fort Worth is struggling, and I think Mexico City beats Fort Worth at home.
Yeah. Go Aztecs, baby. Of course I'm picking Mexico City. I wouldn't pick any other. Listen, all right. So we've got a couple more super chats. Pretty pleased with strawberries on top and whipped cream. $4.99 from John Fullerton. Marco Swift, $5. I'm pushing the older dags in the pool next convention if I don't hear where we're going soon. I don't like being threatened.
Yeah, I love the strawberries on top. It doesn't get any better than cherries on top, but when you throw strawberries, it's real good.
25th anniversary season of the SFL is going to be next year at the 2025 SFL convention. We're hoping that it's the biggest event yet. Typically, we announce it in March. This convention's getting announced 6 months earlier than that. So, listen, it's the longest heads up ever. So there's plenty of time for people to plan, save, ask for time off. I've heard many, many guesses over the past couple of days. The most popular one seems to be Buffalo, New York. It's not there. So it's not in Buffalo. Now, one place it's not.
Yeah, it's not
I've heard other guesses. Nashville, Denver, Minneapolis, Baltimore, Portland, Niagara Falls. It's one of those. It's one of those. Which one is it, though? It's so mean to toy with people. I don't know why you're like this. So, listen.
I love it.
We wanted a space with a unique element. In Houston, we have the walkout pool with a bar in it. Cincinnati, we had a great view of the river. In Vegas, we were at the HyperX Esports Arena. Even at our first convention in Denton, Texas, we had a very unique studio with different props. And I think there was a giant Bart Simpson or Homer Simpson in there?
It sure was. It was cool.
Yeah. So, we've always had something fun. So we wanted to find a space that had something nice. We found a space with a hell of a view from the 15th floor of the hotel. And it's got a rooftop pool. It's got a bar and an outdoor terrace up there. Somehow there's trees going on the roof. I don't know how that works, but they're real trees. So, listen, we wanted to make it a memorable, top-notch venue. It is a 4-star Hyatt hotel. It is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful Hyatt hotel. We also wanted to make sure that it was affordable for people, especially being a 4-star hotel with these great amenities. It's a pricey hotel. We were able to negotiate the price down. It's a little more expensive than last year, but it's only $170 a night, so it still is affordable for most people. We're also working on, this is something we haven't done before. I'm not sure where it's going to go, but we are trying. We're working with an airline to try to get discounted airfare for attendees too. So that's something I learned that we can do. I'm working on that. So the goal was also to find a space that as many people could go to as possible. A good portion of our community lives on the eastern half of the U.S., so we went with a location on the East Coast. In addition to being located on the East Coast, and which will help the people driving, we also wanted to take care of the people flying as well. For airline buffs, this is going to give it away. This is the biggest hub for the country's largest low-fare airline, Southwest Airlines. They offer direct flights from this city to 74 destinations daily and connecting flights just about everywhere in the country. So, without further ado, because I'm sure people are flaming me in the chat for continuing to talk, the 2025 SFL 25th Anniversary Convention is headed to Baltimore, Maryland. Excited to announce the Baltimore Convention for 2025. The community will gather together to celebrate the league's 25th anniversary season on Baltimore's beautiful Inner Harbor at the Hyatt Regency Baltimore Inner Harbor Hotel. It'll be taking place on July 11th to the 13th, 2025, in what's called the Pisces Rooms, located on the 15th floor. And if you look right over to the left, that's where the Hyatt Hotel is in this beautiful drone shot. Compliments of Dag's Drone Works. It's the silver and white looking hotel, and you can see the rooftop pool if you look close enough. The Pisces Room, it overlooks the Inner Harbor. It's got wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling windows. In addition to live games, the event's going to feature 2 catered meals, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, paper football contest, flag football contest. We're going to try to arrange a basketball contest, hopefully even more. We're going to bring back the auction, so we'll have another live auction there. There's plenty to do and see on the Inner Harbor. There's a beautiful aquarium. Fantastic views. It's an absolutely beautiful city, and can't wait to bring the convention there. Between scheduled events, if you want, you can spend time at the rooftop pool, hang out at the rooftop terrace overlooking the harbor. There's a full-service bar up there.
I think Andy Hamilton would be really happy, because I'm not sure that this full-service bar is going to close early for him. He better get his
It'll
drink.
probably be open much later than that pool bar was. Andy Hamilton, we were thinking of you, sir. The booking link is available now. You can get that booked right away. We'll have more information to come with potential savings from Southwest Airlines as they open up their schedule. Currently, it's only open until March. So once that schedule opens up into the July timeframe, we'll have some more information about that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via DM or in the convention channel. And if you're not part of the convention channel and you would like to be, please send us a DM. We'll get you added in.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did that in record time. That was amazing.
Yeah.
With a little heavy breathing in between, but you got through it.
Because I was excited, man. Listen, it was killing me not announcing it. And,
it was great. Look, it's one of the cities I've never been to. I've only flown through via Southwest through there, but it's one of the cities I've always been wanting to go to, it being where it is. So, and it's one of the locations that we actually have that actually has an SFL team as well. So it's such an area where a lot of people in the area on the East Coast and surrounding stuff, like you said, it's real easy to get into, whether it's flying. Some that are in driving distance are going to drive there. The people from the DC area and everything else too. So I think it's going to be one of the most popular venues that we've ever had. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there.
You know who else is going to be there? Ray Bentley's going to be there. I don't think he's been to one yet.
I think he's been to the Atlanta one. I think
went to Atlanta.
Atlanta.
So he hasn't been there in a while. So Ray Bentley is more than likely going.
Haven't seen Jermaine since the first one. Myself.
This is
Jermaine Smith,
right up the street from Jermaine Smith. So we might see him. Justin Reside, he's going to go. He said he would go if it was on the East Coast.
Nice.
It's on the East Coast, Justin. So
make it happen.
Hope that you all can be there. I hope you're as excited about Baltimore as I am. It's going to be great. If you've never been to the Inner Harbor, it is absolutely beautiful. The sunsets are beautiful. It's a great place to be, and it's going to be a great convention. And listen, you have all the way until July. It's only August still. You have all the way until next July. You had 11 months. So start, saving those pennies. Have a bake sale. I don't know.
I'm saving my bottle return deposits, putting them in my pocket.
All right, that's all that we got from here. We're already over, so we'll get down to DC, just down the street from the 2025 SFL convention in DC tonight, and we'll get this game started, get week 6 started, and now the countdown begins. Only 11 months till the 20. We have to finish this season and do a whole nother season before the convention.
It's an amazing thing.
It is amazing.
It's exciting.
All right, well, what's going to happen with Minnesota at DC is Matt Willson would say it's only one way to find out, and that's on the field. We'll get down to the field in just a minute, get that game started. We'll see you there.